Marhaba, that's hello in Arabic. I'm Chef Kamal and you're cooking with Kamal Lebanese style. I'd like to show you the way that I like to prepare tilapia with jalapeno pine nut sauce, or in Arabic it's called Samakeh Harrah. Now there's many variations of this recipe. This is the one that I grew up with and I'd like to show you how to prepare it. Now I've made everything in advance. I have the fillet of tilapia ready. I like tilapia because it's a thin fillet. It holds together nicely and you can layer it, building it with this sauce. Now the sauce that I prepared, you can also prepare this without preparing the rest of the dish and just use it as a dip. I've done that many times and it's actually very popular, so I think you're gonna like that. So what I'm gonna do first is I've prepared all my different items. I think what we'll do is we take the fish, and we wanna sort of shape it, into a fish. So just think about that when you're building this, how the body of a fish would look. And that's where you just sort of place your bottom fillets. And that's how you start. And you can always take little pieces and just drop them here and there. It's not gonna matter because this is gonna be covered with the sauce eventually. So none of it's really gonna show. Now what I do is take a little bit of the sauce and just put it right here. And the reason you wanna do some in the middle is this is what's going to hold the next pieces that you apply on top. This is what's going to secure them into place. So you really, and I just use a spatula because it really smooths it out beautifully. Now you can make this with walnuts. These are with pine nuts. You can make it with walnuts. The sauce will come out a little grayer, or you can use ground almonds. If you do almonds, however, make sure that you don't use the almonds that still have their brown the brown skin on them. You'd want to use skin, the ones that do not have the brown, because that'll make it darker as well. So that's enough to sort of load the next fish on. So what we want to do is we're going to layer this so that our fish becomes three-dimensional. You can just add wherever you want. And this is sort of what's going to secure these next pieces in place. Now I'm just going to go about 2 layers high. You really want to make sure, and I pan-fried this fish in olive oil. You can bake it. You just want to make sure that it's cooked all the way through because this dish is not being cooked anymore. It's served at room temperature. Now, I took it to some friend's house one night for part of a meal, and they served it as an appetizer, and they heated it first, and everybody loved it. So you'll find out the way that you like it best, but traditionally, to serve this sort of at room temperature or just slightly warm. Okay, and there we go. I've added the pieces, and now it sort of is three-dimensional. It's a little thicker in the center and it tapers off towards the edges. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and spoon. I just go ahead and use my hands. We're going to add this topping right, again, I like to start right in the center and then we'll work our way down. I use a spatula to distribute and see how nicely that packs it. Now your friends, this is going to be, they're just going to love this because it's all filet inside. Now depending on the fish that you use, you want to check. Now tilapia, there aren't any small little bones, so you're going to be okay. But if you use something other than tilapia and you fry it and bake it in advance, you just want to make sure that if there are any small bones, that you remove those in advance. Okay, and I just keep, first I just quickly sort of distribute it first, and then we'll concentrate on shaping it, getting it all into place. Okay, now we just take this spatula here and we pat it. See, what I like about this, we can come right up against the dish and get it all cleaned up nice and easily there. And there we have. Now I'm going to taper this end a bit because this is going to be the tail. And I'm going to put the head up here. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start garnishing the fish. Now for the scales, I choose a small cucumber, cut it in half, and then you can just use a peeler and peel these little half moons. It's really that easy. Now I've done a few in advance. Now what I like to do is I'm going to do about a layer of 3. This gives, it just sort of looks like scales. Just want to put about a row of 3. It's very nice looking. Then you see you sort of go in the center there. That makes it look like it's a real fish scale. The good thing is it's tasty, and you want them to be thin because when people go to eat this, you don't want too much cucumber. So now we've got our scales in place. Now we need fins. So I'm going to do now I've taken these little baby carrots that you can buy in the grocery store. They just come in a little bag, and I've cut them into little sticks. You can just do a little fin on top. You can just push these right in. That's what's nice about this pine nut spread, is you can actually stick things into it. Look at that, that's the top fin. Okay, so now we've got our fins in place. Now I'm just going to take a radish, and I'm just going to cut a little piece off the tip here, and then slice it into a little thin round. There we go. We have an eye for our fish. Okay. So now let me give it a turn so you can take a look before we finish. There you go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some fresh cilantro. We can put some fresh cilantro around. Put a little bit up here. Put a little bit of cilantro maybe right up here at the beginning. And then I like to put wedges of fresh lemon. And the reason I like to put these wedges of fresh lemon is when people take servings of the fish, sometimes they like to just squeeze some fresh lemon on top of it. So I love to include that. I'll put one right up here at the top. And then the last thing I do is I just take a little bit of chopped up cilantro, sprinkle it around the edges. You can sprinkle some right on top of the fish. Now you can cover this and store it in a cool, dry place for a couple of hours before serving it. So you can prepare this in advance. You don't want to prepare it too far in advance, and you certainly want to prepare it the same day. There you are. Tilapia with jalapeno pine nut sauce, or Samakeh Harrah. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. For more information on this recipe and my cookbook, Classic Lebanese Cuisine, please visit us at cookingwithkamal.com. I hope you enjoy preparing these recipes with your friends and family. As we say in Arabic, sahtain, double health.